So here is our subject Enterprise Java, and we are going to study about our unit 1, that is servlet, that is chapter 1. Okay, so one by one we'll go on studying the topic of servlets. So in servlet, first of all, the point is Java EE server. What is the meaning of Java EE server and what it includes? In short, we are going to study today. Okay, so here Java EE server is nothing but a server application that implements Java EE platform's APIs and provide the standard Java EE services. And here Java EE services is a server, is sometimes called as an application server, because they allow the serving application data to the clients, as much web servers serve web pages to the web browsers. Just like the same point, they also serve the serving application data to the client. Therefore, they are also called as an application servers. Next point is Java EE server hosts several application component types that correspond to the tiers in a multi-tiered application. It means Java EE server provides services to these components in the form of container as well. So here is our one diagram has been included of Java EE server. In that, it consists of web container also and EJB container also. Here, during the deployment and deployment process, installation of Java EE, this application component take place in the Java EE containers. Here, in the Java EE containers, first, and then Java EE server is used as runtime portion for the execution of application, which contains EJB and web container. So here in this diagram, the Java EE server includes web container also and EJB container also. EJB means nothing but enterprise Java beans, and web container means overall the applications which run on the web servers are nothing but web applications, which are from related to web containers. So here Java servlet, next point is Java servlet technology. In Java servlet technology, here it includes a Java servlet is nothing but a server-side program that services HTTP request and returns the result as a HTTP response. Okay, so it is a module that is being written using Java and that runs in a server application. Okay, that runs in a server application to answer the client request. Okay, so it is most commonly used with HTTP and servlet. That is nothing but HTTP servlet. Okay, then it is supported by virtually all web servers and application servers. Next point is it has a performance problem by executing all the requests as thread in one process. Okay, and it can easily share the resources. It can be easily ported to other platforms that support Java, as it runs on JVM, inside a JVM. JVM is nothing but Java virtual machine. Okay, so here in Java servlet technology, when the user issues a request from a URL that corresponds to the Java servlet, then the server hands the request off to the servlet for processing, and the servlet dynamically produces the response to the request, typically an HTML web page, and send back to the requesting web browser. Okay, so that means that when the user, for example, in general life, in our daily life, when we type something on Google, okay, we use a Google search engine. When we type something in a Google SEO, that is search engine optimization, Google text box, okay, we type something, for a we have some query, and therefore we type something in that text box and enter it. Means our query is being submitted to the server. Okay, server takes this query, evaluates it, and process on that query, and then overall extract all the information that has been related to the query and sends back the results to the client. This is nothing but a Java servlet technology, and therefore servlet play an important role in this. Why? Because it's overall from sending request to receiving the response. Overall servlet works on the web server. Therefore, it's called as a Java servlet technology. And here the servlet are also platform independent. They run using a set of standard interfaces, that is servlet engine and a JVM, that is Java virtual machine. The Java virtual machine that is built to run on a specific hardware platform. So here is nothing but our servlet is the technology. Here the client sends a request. Here it has the entities are included, that is a client, a server, and a particular query. Okay, this is nothing but the query. Okay, so the client send a request, whatever the query wanted to sort out and all. Okay, so the client send the request to the server. Okay, server generate the response at the runtime. Okay, means server overall extract the request data from the database. So overall data is being extracted from the database, and then the response is sent to the client. Overall the response is being generated here, and then it is being sent to the client. Next point is why servlet. Why we use servlet for web application. Okay, why we use servlet for overall we used in HTML forms and all. Why we use servlet? Okay, first of all, servlet is a small self-contained portion of the code that is executed at the web server in response to an HTTP request from the client browser. Okay, so here servlet process and store the data submitted by an HTML form. As I have told previously, whatever the client request, any query, anything, it's query. So it send the request using HTML form. That is nothing but the HTML form, simple HTML form. So all the data has been sent through and submitted by an HTML form. Then server provide a dynamic content. For example, it returns the result of a database query to the client. Means overall the client query is the client extract the servlet extract the query, generate the query's response by extracting all the data from the database, and therefore it can provide a dynamic content. Why? Because it can extract the data from the database also. Next is a servlet can manage a state information on the top of stateless HTTP. For example, an online shopping cart system which manages shopping carts for many concurrent customers and map every request to the right customer. That is nothing but the example of stateless HTTP. Okay. Next point is servlet can forward the request to other servers and servers. As we know, servlet is nothing but overall we have a distributed system also. In that, number of server machines have been connected. So overall request can be forwarded to another servers, another servlet also. Then it can handle here the servlet can handle multiple requests concurrently. and these requests can be synchronized to support systems. Okay, then the servlet can maintain and track the session by using URL or cookies. Yes, they can track the sessions. Then they can also clean up the sessions when overall the servlet, when the session has been overall terminated. They can clean up the sessions and by logging off or by timeout. Okay, next point is Java Servlet API. API is nothing but application programming interface. So Java provides a servlet application programming interface, okay, which is the basic library class library. That means overall classes and interfaces are included in that API for implementing a service. Okay, now Java API forms a standard interface for developing web applications. So in Java API, it includes Java API has number of standard interfaces, as we can use that interfaces to develop the web application. Okay, so without the implementation of Java API, it is not possible to develop a dynamic application. Okay, so this Java API consists of set of important interfaces that can be implemented in different areas so that developers can conveniently build the Java applications. Okay, means this API is nothing but a class library in which number of things are overall inbuilt. Okay, means whatever the developer wants to develop it, they can have a feature, supported feature from API. So for that purpose, the API is been generated for developing the web applications, standard web applications. Okay, then here is a Java Servlet API diagram. Okay, so here Java Servlet package, Java X Servlet package is the core package of Servlet API. Okay, so Java X Servlet package includes the basic servlet interface, which all the servlets must implement in one form or another, and an abstract generic servlet class for developing basic servlet class. Okay, so here so Java X Servlet includes a package that package include the classes, that is servlet request and servlet response, which is used for communicating with host and the client. Okay, then it includes servlet input stream and servlet output stream. It is used for communicating with the client to get the input and to get the output. We can use it for the get the output from the client, get the input from the client. Okay, then servlet interface. Here is the next point of servlet interface. It is a collection of empty method signatures. Okay, interface is nothing but a particular bridge which helps us to develop a better web application, a dynamic web application. Okay, so a servlet must directly or indirectly can be generic servlet or HTTP servlet, which can implement a servlet interface. Most of cases we use HTTP servlet. Okay, so this interface holds method signatures, that is initializing a servlet, handling a client request, and destroying a servlet. So overall servlet interface has the work, that is initializing a servlet, that means to start a servlet. Then handling a client request means overall handling a service. Okay, to do a particular working of a servlet, that means handling a client request. And destroying a servlet means as the servlet works has been completed, overall removing it from the memory, that means destroying a servlet. Then here are the methods of servlet interface. It includes or it's init, that means initialization. So here init method means initializing an interface. When we start a particular servlet, okay, overall initialize method is being called. Okay, it is used for initializing servlet parameters provided by the servlet config object. Okay, so it is called only once when the servlet is first loaded. Okay, it means it can commonly used to initialize the resources to be used by a servlet when requests are received. For example, we can say database or network connections, file initialization, and other environmental settings. For that purpose, we can also for that purpose init method is used. That means initialization method, which is the most important method of servlet. Okay, none of the servlet method can be called unless the servlet is initialized using init method. Okay, next point is destroy method. As per the name include, destroy means we are going to remove it from the memory. It is called once immediately before the servlet is unloaded. When the servlet is unloaded, the overall before the unloading of servlet, the destroy method is called. Okay, now next point is service method. Service method is nothing but overall working of the servlet. It includes it is first of all it is the heart of the HTTP request and response. Okay, so it is called to handle a single client request. When a particular client request for a particular query, okay, it requests for a query, it requests a query to the client, to the server. At that time, overall service method is called. Why service method is called? To process this client request and further generate the response. So for that purpose, we can use the service method. So here the service method is used. Then servlet receives a request information through the servlet request object and sends back the data to the client through the servlet response object. For this procedure, we use the servlet. For that purpose, the service method is being used. Next point is get servlet config. So here it provides a config object for initializing the servlet parameters. So config in the sense we can say as configurations. Okay, so to start a particular servlet, it provides some of the configuration objects to initialize the servlet. Then next part is get servlet info. It provides the servlet metadata such as author, servlet version, and all the copyright information. This method needs to be overridden inside the servlet for it to return the required information. Okay, next part is servlet context interface. Okay, so context interface means all the servlet belong to one servlet context, and that servlet context is called as a context initializing time. Okay, so it provides a set of methods which allow communication with the server. So servlet context act as an important role for communication with the server, like finding path information, accessing other servlet running on the server, and writing the server log file. Log file in the sense where the overall details of the server where that file of the server is being stored, when it is being stored, when it is being modified, and overall information that has been included in servlet that has been worked by servlet context interface. Servlet context allows enabling applications to load servlet and filters at runtime that are needed. Okay, so here are some of the methods in the interface of servlet context. So first method is get attribute. It returns the value of a name server attribute as an object. So get attribute means where the servlet, which servlet is being on process, on running. So that name servlet is being returned by using get attribute. Now get attribute name in the sense it returns an enumeration containing the attribute names available with the current servlet context. So enumeration containing the attribute name is being returned. Okay. Now next point is get context, means overall context objects that corresponds to the URL on the server. So whatever the query is being passed on the server from the client, so that object is being returned by using get context method. Next point is get context path. So it context path of the web application where the web application is being running, so it will return the overall path. Then get servlet info, that means that is the it will return the name of the server, okay, version of the server, servlet, container, and on where the particular servlet is running. So overall all information can be written by using get servlet info. Then next point is get servlet init parameter. Get init parameter, so it is used for initializing a parameter. So if we are using, it will return a string containing a value. So if we want a particular result of that servlet, that means for that purpose we can use the method get init parameter. Then get request dispatcher, means it acts as a wrapper for the resource located at the given path. So okay, thank you.